a three-time sports editor, former online and managing editor, and host of Talk That Talk, award-winning journalist Terrell Chatterbox Emerson.
Welcome to it. Pardon. It is almost 3:30 on a Monday afternoon. It is time for the Talk That Talk radio show. Late start today. Didn't really panic, but had a streaming issue. The stream wouldn't start. A little delayed today for whatever reason, but we are here. Episode 36 of season 7 of the Talk That Talk radio show. I am your host, Terrell Chatterbox Emerson, in studio Dolo. Again, episode 362. I don't think I said that part. Episode 362 in totality of the Talk That Talk radio show. And let me move these keys out the way. And again, keep in mind, we only started counting when we got here to Vegas. So this doesn't include Cerritos. Pardon, this doesn't include Cerritos. This doesn't include any of our special episodes that we've done, any of our like pop-up episodes we've done. Westgate is included in that. Yeah, just to kind of let you guys know a little bit. But in terms of Las Vegas, sorry guys, checking my phone, trying to make sure that my phones are down the way that they should be, because I'm getting alert. Sorry about that. But again, this is episode 362 of the Talk That Talk radio show. Again, I'm the only one in studio, so I got the caps on the rest of the cameras. But if you guys would like to watch our YouTube live stream, you guys can always do it on Mondays 3 to 5, and then on Thursdays 10 to midnight. You guys can do so by going to YouTube, going to the search bar, typing in Talk That Talk radio show. Once again, you guys can go to YouTube, go to the search bar, type in Talk That Talk radio show. It's pretty much the same across every platform. It's the same on Facebook, on Instagram, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on everything. You guys can find it. Talk That Talk radio show. The one thing that would be different is our Twitter. Our Twitter is at Talk That Talk LV. Once again, guys, our Twitter is at Talk That Talk LV. And again, this show is being shot from the studio here at the Harry Reid Research and Technology Park here on Sunset, here in Las Vegas, Nevada. It is June 9th. Let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. I do have to hit this water really quick since it's just me on the show. There's a lot to get to today. We are starting with NBA talk. Of course, we got the finals going on, right? I have my mom sipping too. So let's get to my mom's sip in, and then let's get to the show. I like this one a lot for a couple of different reasons, but good things come to those who believe. Better things come to those who are patient. Hopefully. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know what the hell just happened. Good things come to those who believe. Better things come to those who are patient. And the best things come to those who don't give up. Again, shout out to my mom for that tip in. I have originally scheduled more than an hour and a half of news for you guys. I got to get comfortable in this chair, knowing how much I have to talk about, knowing that the NBA finals are now tied at 1 apiece. Here's the deal. First of all, shout out to OKC for what they did in game 2. I truthfully don't know why I cut a camera on today, and all of a sudden I'm yawning. I had all the rest in the world. I don't know what's going on, why it's going on now all of a sudden, and now it's like I have like violent yawns. Like I cannot stop them. So my apologies. I don't know, and I feel like I've gotten enough rest, so I don't understand. But the NBA Finals is tied 1-1. Oklahoma City took care of business in game 2 from Paycom Center. Let's just call a spade a spade. That's what they were supposed to do, right? That's what was supposed to happen. So, to most people's credit, I don't see a lot of overreaction. But I do see some people acting as if the lid is off. I mean, who knows what may happen moving forward? Who knows? But what I do know is with the series being tied at 1 apiece, it's headed back to Indiana. Indiana has been great on the road this postseason. But their job was to get one. It got one. It got game one. Matter of fact, it's gotten every game one this postseason run. Now, I actually want to get to game two. I want to get to some specifics, right? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And the interesting thing is too, maybe it was a realization during the regular season that just never came to fruition. But it definitely happened in game two. I'm watching and I'm like, hey, I think I understand why Shai Gilgeous-Alexander rubs so many people the wrong way. I said he runs the pick and roll like Chris Paul. He waits for contact, and if he doesn't feel contact, he'll migrate to where he can feel the contact. And then I realized that was his OG in OKC when he first got there. Remember, Shai got to OKC after only his rookie season with LA, with the Clippers. So to see Shai, and the interesting thing is too, after game one, there was a conversation that I had with my dad, and I said, Shai might have to get, and this is being a bit facetious, a little bit, he may have to get that Allen Iverson treatment. Let him do what he's going to do. Focus on keeping the other guys in check. Shai got to some spots yesterday. Shai has gotten to some spots this season where it has been undeniable that he's going to get his shot off, and 9 times out of 10 the shot is going to go in. I watched a one-hand hanging floater, I believe, yesterday at some point. Credit to Rick Carlisle and Indiana defense, because there were moments where you saw Shai hit certain baskets, and it's like, what do you want us to do? So, I mean, it is what it is. We see what it is, right? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has the ability. You know what? Rashad McCants said it. Rashad McCants on Gil's Arena said it a while back. He said it's cone work. That's all it is. We see bodies out there. He sees cones. it seems like no matter what, he's getting to his spots, right? Andrew Nembhard has played him really, really tough. Neesmith as well. Benedict Mathurin's had moments. He's going to have to see everybody. There's no other way around it. Game 1, Indiana, some people could say that they stole it, right? Could be right. They set it kind of the whole playoff run for the most part, right? However, now they have the NBA Finals shifting back to Indiana, or shipping to Indiana, rather. Tied at 1 apiece, with an energy and a mojo that I don't think is going to move, and I don't think has moved since the Game 2 loss. A game that is interesting to me for a couple different reasons again. But Jalen Williams was mic'd up, right? And he said they're comfortable down 15. Good assessment. At one point, Indiana was down 23 points. It quickly goes on a 10-0 run in about a minute and 45 seconds, right? Now it's 13. It was 29. Yeah, 52-29 originally. Ended up close to 13. Indiana does have this ability to never go away. In the playoffs, it's hard to beat a team 4 times, and a team that you can go up 15 on, 20 on, and they still make it a game, or they come back and win it and steal it. That's tough. Credit to Oklahoma City for getting an opportunity to either lick their wounds or go out there and take Game 2 in a statement fashion. And they did the latter. They did both, right? But the latter definitely happened. They clearly licked their wounds during the break in between games 1 and 2. But they came out ready for action in Game 2. Took it to Indiana to end the first quarter. Early in that second quarter, things started to change. At halftime, it appears that OKC went in and had the conversation that, hey, they've come back from this before. Game 3, Wednesday night, from Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Now my allergies want to try to act up, but the AC's on, so I don't know what's going on. Speaking of Game 3s, there's a Game 3 tonight that I'm excited for, that I'm excited to get home for, actually. Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Another series that's tied at 1 apiece. Gotta be honest with you guys. Well, this is a Monday, so I should be leaning back, but the way I'm yawning, I'm scared to lean back. Ew. Got to be this building all of a sudden. I was just here last night. Maybe that matters. Episode 74 of the OD podcast was recorded last night. Shout out to Markel Collins. Shout out to Caprice as well. But yeah, man. Episode 74 on the way this week. But I got to be honest with you guys. This is why I don't want to, especially when I'm in here by myself. You guys know I try to treat this more so like a therapy session when I'm here by myself. So try to lean back a little, try to have a little bit more fun with it. If I'm being honest, I'll start with this story. I'm at the bar, right? At the bar, behind the bar. And somebody sits there at the bar, and as I'm pouring up their waters, the young lady says, "Oh, man, I hate both of these teams." I looked at her. I said, "Just a shot in the dark. Gonna guess that you're a Golden Knight fan." She smiled. Her and her boyfriend both was like, "Yeah, definitely." I know all of Vegas does not like, most of Vegas does not like this series, right? Now, I've said before, I'm not the biggest Eastern Conference hockey watcher, right? Getting there. However, this Florida team, with the way that they don't go away, remind me of an East Coast version of Vegas. Connor McDavid is the best player in all of hockey. Last year, after watching the way that the series went, I felt like this year just had Edmonton written all over it. I did. To see Edmonton lose game 2 the way it did, I still have a gut feeling that the cup is headed to Canada for the first time. And since when? I have to double check that. Edmonton was close last year. And it may be close again. Do they seal the deal? If you guys are at home, do you guys feel like the Edmonton Oilers eventually going to seal the deal? I'll tell you what. 5 points, all assists in the first 2 games for Connor McDavid. The moment he scores a goal, preferably at home, I don't know what that does for him moving forward. Bigger than that, I don't know what type of energy that gives the team when he lights the lamp. If he lights the lamp. So, I also mentioned Florida and being scrappy, things like that, right? So, Matthew Raftery, if he hears this, he's going to be like, what the hell? Justin Russo, if he hears this, he's going to be at home like, what the hell? So I feel like should have known this, but I didn't anticipate. Not anticipate. I didn't know that Sergei Bobrovsky was 36 years old. No, he's a vet. Know how talented he is. Didn't know he was 36 years old. She didn't register. So, what was that? Back-to-back games, I believe, with 42 saves. I think it was back-to-back games with 42 saves. I want to double check right now. He definitely had 42 in game 2. Let me double check game 1. Back-to-back games with 42 saves. Gave up 4 goals in each game. Somebody's actually texting me right now. And that's the funny thing, because now it's starting to register. Get you some people that care about you in your life. Somebody texted me, and I didn't today. And normally I don't wait this long. My parents are going to be pissed. Doesn't even matter, because they already know what it is, so it doesn't even matter. But get you some people that care about you, because somebody just texted me, and that's why I feel the way I do. So, anywho, we're powering through this show the best way we know how. I did not anticipate Bobrovsky to be seeing 46 shots a night, right? But he's handled them damn well. I heard 36 and was like, wait a minute now. Didn't know that part. You want to know something else I didn't know? I didn't know that the Aces were going to go up to Golden State and look the way they did. I'm not sure if Becky Hammond knew it. Don't think the team knew it. It appears. You know what? This is what I'll say. I might take some water for this one, because this is interesting. Before I start, I'll ask this. And I heard Will Despard say it, right? Shout out to Will Despard of Sports Illustrated. Will talked about what the New York Liberty looked like, right? This was 2 weeks ago. So the question I ask you guys is, have you guys seen the New York Liberty play this year? And have you seen the Minnesota Lynx play this year? When you watch this Aces team, having watched those teams, just feels a little different. Just feels a little different this year. There was a point last season where, myself included, where it appeared, even though the team had told you, hey, we have to, we had to get punched in the mouth to start the year, whatever, we didn't really have that early, like, whatever the case may be, right? Even being told that. You sit back, and I had a moment, I said, well, when do we really know when this team can't snap out of it? I don't want to say can't snap out of it, but when this team is like in real trouble. That's how do you know? When will you be able to tell? We've watched this team go through it early in the year, right? I even mentioned it was coming. Maybe not in the form of losses, but just trying to get together their offense, things like that, right? Jim Boylan said it during game 2. He said of the NBA Finals, he said the Indiana Pacers were letting their lack of offense affect their defense. I see something similar with this Aces team. There are times when the offense doesn't click and the defense goes right out the window with it. Now, as you chronicle a season, as you follow along in every step, right? You almost can find a reason for nights like this. Maybe not to this tune. It was a 95-68 loss for Vegas at the hands of the first year Valkyrie. I want to give you some numbers too. I almost said live numbers, but I want to give you some numbers while actually sitting here looking at it, right? Because I have some written down. Let's talk about Natalie Nakase Scout, right? Natalie Nakase is a former assistant coach of Becky Hammon. Of the 2 assistant coaches that got their head coaching starts this offseason rather, and Coach Nat and Tyler Marsh, Coach Nat is the first one to get a shot at Becky, right? This is what she does. A 27-point win. While this Las Vegas team appeared to be going through an identity crisis. And that goes back to my original point. When did I know last season, okay, this team is in trouble? Because right now, at this point in this season, the way that this team is playing, it's in trouble. There's a lot of basketball to be played. I expect this team to still be a top 4 team in this conference, or in this league, rather. But the way that this start has looked, 7 games into the year, I just don't know. What if they're not a top 4 team in this conference? As of right now, they're not. As of right now, they're 5th in the league with a 4-3 record. They're sitting behind 2 undefeated squads. Everybody in the league is sitting behind 2 undefeated squads. Minnesota's at 9-0. New York is 8-0. Atlanta's 5-3, and Phoenix is 6-4. So Natalie Nakase Scout. I have my notes in my backpack. Don't want to get them? I do. I think I do. Got my indoor football notes too. But, and I want to be sure about this. With 2 minutes and 52 seconds left in the second quarter, Jewel Lloyd and Jackie Young had combined to shoot 0 of 10 from the field. Jewel got her points shortly thereafter at the free throw line. Jackie didn't score her first points until after halftime. Both finished with single digits, both combined, as a matter of fact, for 9 points on 2 of 14 shooting, including 0 of 6 from 3. I am going to get to the team's numbers. That's where I am. But I just want to give you some other numbers really quick. Five, 20, 9, 14, 3, 10, and 5. What did I just give you? Those are the point totals in every game this season by Jewell Loyd. And if you guys follow the almost at the Knights, if you guys follow the Aces and you follow the media coverage and things like that, I've asked Jewell a couple of times, right, about being familiar with who she is. And she's talked about her routine a lot. She talked about trying not to overthink it, I'll say. I've said this before, and I'll say this again. Jewell Loyd is a hell of a basketball player. You can't convince me otherwise. But I told you guys, somebody told me from the Seattle Storm fan base, they said that she, quote, fell off of a cliff last year. Now, Jewell has always been played tough by Vegas. In the 2-game sweep in the postseason against the Aces, she scored a combined 15 points on 5 of 19 shooting. I actually talked a lot about Jewell whenever this team would play Jewell. But I'll give you some numbers from last season. Yeah, that fan is bugging. And I just want to look at it in real time. This is to end the year, and I'm going backwards, right? 15, 12, 26, 17, 27, 20, 28, 16, 18, 26, 21. Pre-All-Star break, game right before All-Star break, she had 30, 14, 14, 28, 20, 13, 26. She had 30, 34. Yeah, no way. I wanted to do that in real time. I wanted to look at it, right? Jewell Loyd did not fall off of a cliff. And in terms of what I said earlier this offseason about Jewell Loyd needing time to get familiar and get acclimated with this offense, that's going to need to happen. Still hasn't happened. When I said I anticipated a slow start, this is what I meant. When I said I anticipated struggles, this is what I meant. Did I anticipate it would take this long? Not going to lie, I didn't. We're 7 games in, and now it appears that Jewell has taken a pass-first approach to start the game. I mean, she's surrounded with a boatload of talent, so I'm not saying it's the wrong decision by any means. But it is something I'm noticing. I think it's something that she's noticing. It's definitely something that Becky Hammon is noticing. Another thing to add really quick. Where are we at? The Aces had 11 assists in that game, I believe. Gotta double check. Triple check, rather. But it was 11 on what? They had 11 assists on 22 made field goals. On 50% of their field goals, they got them off of a helper. In this game, Asia had 2 assists. Chelsea had 1 assist. Jewel had 1 assist. Jackie had 3 assists, led the team, actually. Crystal Bradford, Kirsten Bell, Tiffany Mitchell, and Aaliyah Nye all had 1 assist off the bench. Something is happening with this, or not happening with this offense. But when that offense looks putrid to the point of 36% from the field, 24% from 3, even 72% from the free throw line, when it looks that anemic, you can't allow the opponent to shoot 48% from the field, 36% from 3, and connect on 17 of 18 of their free throws. Not to mention turning the ball over 13 times. What part of those statistics that I just gave give you the indication that you can win a game? And this is per what Becky has said, what Asia has said, what this entire team always says, when the league is that good. Now, keep in mind, I said which one of those singular stats can you give and you win the game. Now, which one can you have all of them and you compete? Wasn't in this one for sure. Back in action on Wednesday night, 7 p.m. from the house, from the Michelob Ultra Arena. The LA Sparks are back in town. It's another Cup game. It's another Commissioner Cup game. 2 of them so far for Vegas. 1 up, 1 down. I told you guys it would be kind of a quick show today. I have baseball news. I have Nighthawk news. I have my dad's tip in, and we can get out of here. My aviator news. I'll hold off for this because I am going to need my notebook for the Nighthawks. But in terms of the Aviators, back on the winning side of things, I said it before, I'll say it again, seeing Tacoma this year definitely helps things a little bit. The Aviators are 10-2 against the Rainiers this season. They had a 6-game sweep. Their only 6-game sweep of the season came at home and came against Tacoma. They just took 4 on the road against Tacoma, hence the 10-2 overall record. Pitcher Jack Perkins, who made his AAA debut earlier this season, was named the pitcher of the week. Went 10 innings in 2 starts this season, or this week rather. Had a start against Oklahoma City team that we will be mentioning in 1 second. But Jack Perkins went 10 innings, 5 apiece, 5 against Oklahoma City here from the ballpark, and then 5 on the road against Tacoma. Gave up 3 runs in those 10 innings on 6 hits. Get this, he struck out 19 batters in those 10 innings, and he walked 6. Keep in mind, those were 2 5-inning outings. He had 10 strikeouts in Tacoma, 9 strikeouts against OKC. That's how you get named Player of the Week. Pitcher of the Week. With so much happening at the major league level, with so much up and down with the athletics organization, we talked about it. No pun intended. We talked about it before. It looked like the Aviators, as a result of some consistency at the next level, we're going to be able to keep their core guys together for a good portion of the season. Now, yes, it was early in the year. Still kind of early, but yes, it was early in the year. But I just mentioned that Jack Perkins made his AAA debut this season. And now that I'm sitting here, I'm looking at his numbers. He's 1-2 this season. He has an ERA of 3.58. Jack is 25 years old. Time after time after time after time, year after year, this group has managed to send somebody up to the big league level. And as a result, somebody gets an opportunity at the AAA level. And I got to be honest, just in terms of what I've seen over the past 3 seasons, right? Guys have made the most of their opportunities. They just have. Guys have made the most of their opportunities. Fran Reardon told me earlier this season, he said, guys are making it work. Guys are, prior to any of this, he told me, he said, hey, we have arms in the bullpen. He said, I don't mean just starters. I don't mean long relief. I don't mean solely long relief. He said, I don't mean back end of the bullpen. We have arms in every aspect. I mentioned Jack Cushion before, kind of being able to put him out there in any scenario. Carlos Duran is another person who has done it this season, right? Jack Perkins goes out. Matter of fact, a thing that blew my mind, actually. This is happening all for an Aviator staff that traded away its most valuable pitcher last season in Joe Boylan, who's in Tampa now. To see this pitching staff look the way it's looked all season long, to the tune of still leading the PCL in totality, shouldn't shock you guys that the Aviators are 38-24 on the season. Again, first in the PCL. I mentioned Oklahoma City earlier, right? Because I opened this conversation up by saying that Vegas got back to its winning ways. Here's the reason why they got back to their winning ways, or had to, rather. It had lost 4-6 to Oklahoma City, who are now breathing down their necks. The Aviators get back to their winning ways with a 4-2 series win over the Rainiers, and they still have the Comets breathing down their necks. OKC is still a game and a half back. Sugarland is 4 games back, and this was really interesting to me. And I again, the way that Sugarland kind of thrusted themselves into the conversation, El Paso is doing the same thing. El Paso over in the East, they are now 5.5 games behind. I believe the Aviators are 7 games up on the closest person in the West, or closest team in the West. But the East is heating up. The East is heating up for sure. Oklahoma City, again, they're a game and a half back. Sugarland, they're 4 games back. El Paso, they are now 5.5 games back. Speaking of back, the Aviators are back in town. The Aviators will take on Salt Lake of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Can I still say it? Of their organization. That begins I'm talking about the Athletics. That begins tomorrow The Aviators are 22-11 at home this season. They're 11 games over 500 this season. Big time opportunity for this group to continue their winning ways. To continue their winning ways at home specifically as well. Get back to their winning ways at home, I should say, considering that they lost that Oklahoma series at home. Opportunity to take care of your own business, right? Eat your own food. So we'll see what Vegas is able to do when it kicks off a new 6-game series, right? New 6-game series that begins from the ballpark tomorrow, 6:35 p.m. from Las Vegas ballpark. I should be in the building. We shall see how it goes. And another promo week for the Aviators, obviously, since they're back in town. And I believe tomorrow is ladies' night. Wednesday is Bark in the Park. Thursday is Thirsty Thursdays. And I'm doing that straight from memory, guys. I do know that there's a giveaway this weekend in honor of Father's Day. There's a dad shirt. There's a adult shirt and a replica kid shirt. So shout out to the Aviators for their giveaways. Their giveaways are always amazing, always awesome. Not gonna lie. If you guys saw those Aviator Stranger Things jerseys, those are nice. Those are incredibly nice. I have the Stranger Things font tattooed on me. It says something completely different, but that Stranger Things font is absolutely tattooed on me somewhere. So there goes that. But yeah, man, tomorrow night from the ballpark, back in action. My guy Dick Calvert should be there. I'm excited to see the guys and take in some baseball from, in my humble opinion, the best venue in all of Las Vegas, the Las Vegas ballpark. Let's talk about a team that is calling Sutter Health Park their home for the next 3 seasons, and that would be the Athletics, right? The Athletics are still playing. Well, I shouldn't say still. Let me not say that. That sounds kind of crazy. Sorry. Give it a second. So they are playing their home games. This is their first season playing their home games from the Sacramento River Cats minor league ballpark over in Sacramento. But it doesn't matter. When you get a home series win against the Baltimore Orioles, you got to beat the teams you're supposed to beat. What a change a season makes in terms of Baltimore, right? Definitely struggling this year. But that's all well and dandy for the Athletics. They needed a couple of wins. They got a couple of wins. They got a 5-4 win and a 5-1 win over Baltimore in this series. I just want to continue to give a big ups to Tyler Soderstrom, right? Tyler Soderstrom is somebody who I talked about it during the Minnesota Twins series, right? I'm looking at it. I think it was the finale, as a matter of fact. He had a blown play at first base, right? Could have dug the ball out. He didn't do it. Runner reaches. I'm not even sure if the runner came around to score, but the way that these games have been going for the Athletics, you can't be too sure. Since the season started, he's been raking. Matter of fact, I'll tell you guys a quick little Soderstrom story really quick. Nothing too crazy. I'm on the phone with my dad. I'm headed into the ballpark. I look up. I said, okay. Looking at the big board. Might have been a Sunday game. I said, okay, looking at the big board. I said, cool. I said, so I'm walking in as the game is starting. I hear Tyler Soderstrom come up. I also hear him leave the yard. Tyler Soderstrom, he did cool down, obviously, from when he first started the season. That's how baseball goes. But Tyler Soderstrom has been playing his ass off this season. No other way around it. No other way to say it. No other way to sugarcoat it. No other way to even describe it. Tyler Soderstrom has been playing his ass off this year. The Athletics have had several guys that have had years where you look up and you go, well, damn. Let's talk about Jacob Wilson. Right? Jacob Wilson may have been the quietest, maybe the quietest 385 hitter I've seen in my lifetime. No, it was early in the year. I know it's the Athletics. I know it's young Jacob Wilson. I said, does nobody care about this? Aaron Judge is batting 392, and I get that he's doing it with more pop. I also think we should be paying attention to what's happening over in Sacramento. Problem is, not a lot of wins are happening over at Sacramento, or in Sacramento, rather. Maybe that's a good thing, considering, or with that being a good thing, or with that being the fact, maybe it's a good thing that the A's are headed to the road. They're headed to the road. They're staying in California, though. They are headed down to Anaheim. The Aviators are playing the Angels AAA club, and the A's are playing the big league club. 3-game series that starts tonight. 6:38 starts tonight and tomorrow night from the Big A. Tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Wednesday. 1:07 start on a Wednesday afternoon over in Anaheim. I kind of want to read my dad's tip in. I think I'm gonna read my dad's tip in. So, as a matter of fact, as I'm sitting here, the OD podcast is getting some tweets out, and this is from our last pod, right? This is from episode 73, which again is out on YouTube. Please go check out the OD podcast. Shout out to Capri, shout out to Helena. Helena's birthday is on Wednesday as well, so she's gonna probably kick my ass for hesitating. But her birthday is on Wednesday. So shout out to her. She was on the last pod. We were talking a little bit about just what did we talk about? She went to a 2000s R&B party, or no, a 2000s hip hop like night at the Brooklyn Bowl. You guys should listen to that pod. It actually opens with that topic. You guys should listen to that pod about what they played. And Vegas nightclubs, it's getting harder and harder to defend you sometimes. Or just clubs in general out here, it's getting harder and harder to defend you in certain moments like this. But I see the podcast tweeting about some stuff. Did you guys know that there's a drive-through Chipotle? There's a drive-through Panda out here too. There's a drive-through Subway. So this is a random like radio show semi-podcast conversation. It's only going to sound like super crazy because I'm in here by myself. But I sit and I'm in astonishment, right? Like I'm in amazement. Like, oh shoot, they got a drive-through Subway. But I thought about it and I brought it up on the pod. And I said, would y'all trust those places to do that? I'm not saying anything's going to be wrong with your food, but dog, Chipotle shorts you when you're standing in front of you. Like when they are standing, they're looking you dead in the eyes, giving you half a spoonful of chicken, dog. I don't know how I got here, over here getting these notifications about what the OD is tweeting. I stand by my original point. What if you say light lettuce or light vinegar and they drench your Subway sandwich? Getting home to a soggy sub. Man. Let's do my dad's tip in. Let's talk some other football, some indoor football, some standings news, and let's get out of here. But let's my dad's tip in. So my dad's tipping, not gonna lie, something I had never heard of, but something that I think is really, really dope. My dad asked myself and us, have you guys ever heard of the Heidi Bowl? If not, this is how it came to be named that. And also, NFL rules resulting from it that still stand today. On November 17th, 1968, I just want to pause here for a second. Sorry, guys. My dad sent this tip in, and it's a longer tip in, so you guys know how tip-ins you typically go. We have the conversation about it. I'm big on numbers, and 2025 has been great to me in terms of numbers. This game occurred on November 17th, 1968. November 17th, 2025, the Cowboys and the Raiders play on a Monday night. It may mean nothing to you. To 95% of you guys, it may mean nothing to you that I just made that correlation. There are some, just in terms of numbers, where that might matter. But my dad's tip-in reads, on November 17, 1968, two American Football League rivals, the New York Jets and the Oakland Raiders, faced off. Oakland Raiders sounds so long ago, right? Ooh. Both teams were seen to be front runners for the AFL title and to represent the league in Super Bowl III. The previous season, the Jets, behind Joe Namath, posted their first winning season in team history, while the Raiders went 13-1 in the regular season, won the AFL championship against the Houston Oilers, but lost the Super Bowl to the Green Bay Packers. And you told me to shut up. Nope. The telecast of the game was broadcast nationally on NBC, and the broadcast was set to start at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My dad's tip-ins are fire. Like he some of these, the ones that he comes with the educational tip-in, yeah, they're definitely special. That same Sunday evening, the much anticipated debuting television movie version of the children's book Heidi was set to be aired at 7 p.m. directly following the game. The entire 2-hour block for the film was sold to watch manufacturer Timex, making them the sole advertiser for the movie. As a part of the agreement with Timex, Heidi had to air right at 7 p.m. and could not be delayed or joined in progress for any reason. Round of applause for Timex. Round of applause for Timex. NBC was confident in the timing of their schedule, as an average professional football game at that time ran just under 2.5 hours. On to the game. The game was a high-scoring back-and-forth affair, with the Jets hitting a field goal to take a 32-29 lead with just over a minute left to play. The Raiders ran the ensuing kickoff back to the Jets' 23-yard line after a face mask penalty pushed the team back to the 43-yard line. Oakland quarterback Daryl LaMonica found halfback Charlie Smith for a touchdown and a 36-32 lead. On the kickoff, the Jets fumbled at their own 3-yard line, and it was recovered by the Raiders. 9 seconds after the previous score, Oakland punched it in for another touchdown and they would eventually go on to win 43-32. Here's where it gets sticky. Only those that had watched the game from Oakland Coliseum that day saw the incredible ending. After the Jets field goal put them ahead with over a minute left, NBC went to a commercial break. During this break, the 7 o'clock hour hit, and NBC decided to hit the switch, and it switched to Heidi as planned. Because of the switch, the rest of the country did not see the Raiders' incredible comeback. NBC programmer Dick Klein said that he waited and heard nothing to counter the order that he had been given, so he decided he had to do what we agreed to do. And that was to air Heidi at 7 p.m. on the dot. Unbeknownst to Klein, NBC executives were trying to get a hold of him to tell him to stay with the game until the end, but they cannot reach him as phone lines were busy with thousands of callers. Half of them were pleading to keep the game on, and the other half demanding the movie to be aired on time. The aftermath of the Heidi Bowl, the Heidi game, however you want to classify it, led to changes still seen in NFL broadcasts today. The NFL inserted a clause in their network contracts that games must be seen to completion in the competing teams' home markets, rather. In addition, networks installed what affectionately became known as the Heidi phone in their control rooms. These are direct lines between control rooms and executives to ensure no miscommunication if this were to happen again. In case you were curious, the Jets and Raiders would meet again later that year in the AFC Championship. This time, the Jets prevailed 27-23. The Jets also went on to win Super Bowl III against a heavily favored Baltimore Colts team. I was about to say Ravens regardless. My damn. Shout out to my dad for that tip in. That tip in was really, really dope. I'm going to be honest with you. Can you find more like that? That tip in was really dope. The Heidi Bowl, to see the lasting effects of it now as well is really dope. Shout out to my dad, right? The IFL is heating up, right? Week 12 in the IFL. We have a Western Conference that is once again about to get brutal, right? So 2 games separate the top 4 teams in the West. 6-4 for Vegas, 6-4 for San Diego, 7-3 for Arizona, an Arizona team that lost to Jacksonville this weekend. Head coach Mike Davis talked to me about it a little bit. Hey, we take care of what's in front of us. Who knows what can happen? We just saw Arizona lose to Jacksonville, right? Bay Area is now your top seed in the West at 7-2. This Western Conference is going to be good down to the final week. Vegas, in the process of that, in order to get to week 18 and have these moments where it can play for it all, Vegas has to do what it has to do and has to beat the teams that it's supposed to beat. And it beat Northern Arizona once again this year. 2 victories against Northern Arizona, a team that is, 3 years removed from winning the IFL championship. We know how quickly this league can change. 3 years removed from an IFL championship, this Northern Arizona Wranglers team is now 1-9 on the year. They lost this one 63-43, big time game for Antonio Wimbush in this run game. I had the conversation with Mike Davis following the game, and I asked him about leading by example, right? And I don't know if you guys know this, but before his 4-touchdown game a couple of weeks, maybe about a month ago now, Wimbush told head coach Mike Davis that he had his back. I got you, whatever you need from me, let's do it. He goes out and he has a career day. I believe he has a relatively quiet week following that. Then he has back-to-back weeks where he's the IFL Special Teams Player of the Week. Back-to-back weeks where he runs kicks back for 6. And then you have this most recent game against Northern Arizona. When I asked Mike Davis about leading by example, this is kind of what I mean. 3 receivers scored on the ground in this game. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. Watching this Nighthawk team since its inception, the run game has become an afterthought if it's not being done by the quarterback. Just call a spade a spade. Now, even with that, you see moments where it's like, okay, this team is being able to dominate on the ground in this game. This team is finding success on the ground this game, whatever the case may be. These past couple of weeks have felt different because I've never seen this Nighthawk team with a potent run game from a running back. And this is with all due respect to anybody who stopped through here. Antonio Wimbush, his presence, and Mike Davis said that absolutely when you lead by example, when you go out there and you do it, it's kind of hard to deny you anything. Well, what happens when Wimbush goes out there and scores 3 touchdowns of his own? The running game gets boosted and bolstered by 3 rushing touchdowns by the receiving core. I mentioned it when they played San Antonio. Was it the second time? Yeah, when they played San Antonio the second time, that maybe that was the offensive explosion that team needed. Vegas just got this offensive explosion times another one, another added boost, another added jolt of energy because it damn near looks unstoppable again. 63 points, season high for this group. Jayden de Laura damn near perfect this game. Blowout victory. Wimbush scores 3 touchdowns, as I mentioned before. Mike Kerrigan. Why am I blanking? I'm trying not to look. Mike Kerrigan, Quentin Randolph, and I know I'm blanking on another one. Or maybe I'm not. Maybe they actually have another one of these listed as a receiving touchdown. But I had mentioned this again to Mike Davis. Wimbush's mere presence and what he's been able to do and again, when he was special teams player of the week last week, he made a tough tackle on kickoff as well. So he's doing it in every aspect. Sounds like somebody else here in Vegas, right? Or used to be in Vegas, right? Shout out to Ricky White. Somebody else who could do it in every aspect. He's doing it in this fast-paced indoor football game. And Mike Davis, as I mentioned before, kind of highlighted when you go out there and you do it. There's no words. You go out there and you do it. Everybody else has no choice but to follow suit. We are in this gear now. I don't think it's coincidence that Mike Davis brought up the Arizona loss to Jacksonville. He also highlighted this next game for them when they see Bay Area, the first place Bay Area team. It's the first time they've seen them this season. Like you said, we don't know how we stack up against them yet, and we got a lot of football left to play. $6 p.m. Saturday from Lee's Family Forum. The first place Bay Area Panthers against the Vegas Nighthawks. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm excited to see what comes of it. I'm excited to see who's left standing at the end of it. And bigger than that, I'm waiting to see who's left standing at the end of the Western Conference, at the end of the season, who's standing tall at the top of the Western Conference. 3rd straight season, if I recall correctly, where the Western Conference is just, I dare anybody to guess it. We're in for another one, guys. Until next time, gang. See you on Thursday.
Be crazy.
Keep on talking.